Sean to tell FightHype.com. Here with Joey Spencer, Joseph Don Spencer, 11-0, 8 knockouts, one of the best young prospects in the sport. Definitely one of the best prospects at 154 and 160 pounds. Joey, what's going on, man? You're all the way in Paris right now. What are you doing in Paris?
Yeah. So my dad is working with the heavyweight Tony Yoka out here, working his fight coming up in December, and so I'm out here just sharing camp. Tony works with Virgil Hunter, and Verge, with everything going on with the COVID and things being so bad out here, Verge isn't, traveling across the pond right now. So my dad's got a really good relationship with Tony. So Tony called my dad and asked him to come over and work. My dad worked his last fight. He's working this fight. And so I'm just over here. I've got a fight coming up, actually December 26th. I haven't announced that to anybody or on social media or anything yet, but I got a fight coming December 26th on Fox. So we're coming out. I'm just coming out to, join training camps and get some different work out here with some good guys. And, it's been good. We've been getting some really good training, so it's been good.
Oh, you dropped the bomb on us. December 26th, the return of Joey Spencer.
Yeah, man.
Where's he going to be? What card is this on?
So I only know it's in LA. Again, I'm not really positive about the card yet. I don't know who's going to be the main on it. And I just know it's the date in Fox in LA. That's what I got so far. So don't know who the main's going to be on it yet, but I'm looking forward to finding out myself. Don't have an opponent yet, but I will soon. And so I'm just getting ready, I've been getting ready for I've been training for about 3 weeks now. I mean, I trained throughout since my last fight, working on some different things, but I've gotten back to sparring the last 3 weeks, so we're just getting ready early.
Man, moving fast. And
yeah,
Tony Yoka. What do you think of Tony Yoka real quick, man? I know he won the gold medal, and you're getting a chance to see him out there in Paris. Yes,
absolutely. I mean, we've been really close actually for a long time because I trained out in Cali for all that time. And that's where we met. He came in and out there and started working with Verge after I had been out there for about a year, and came out and picked Virgil as his trainer after winning the gold medal in France. And we just got really close. Me and Kel and Tony, we got pretty tight. There was pretty tight-knit team out there because Hayward, California, there's just absolutely nothing to do. So all we did was train and go get burgers and go to movies. So we all got pretty tight. And so my dad got a chance was Verge's assistant at the time and got a lot of chance to work with Tony. And Tony's special, man. He really is. As a heavyweight, he's going to make a huge scene in the next couple of years. He's going to make a huge deal because people don't realize, he's bursting onto the scene. He had a couple issues, contract issues and things like that. He wasn't fighting the last year or two, and he had a really good first couple of years and then took a couple of years off with contract issues. But he's signed with Top Rank now, and he's going to be coming to the U.S. after this fight. So we're going to get to see him against some better names, and he's special, man. I haven't seen a heavyweight move so good. He's extremely fast, extremely agile. He's got feet like Ali, so wow. It's gonna be exciting when people get to see him and he gets to fight the best. It's gonna be good.
Back to your fight on December 26th on Fox. Yeah. You got a lot of love in knocking out Sean West in 4 rounds, and during the broadcast, Goosen and Lennox, who can be harsh at times, they really liked it, and they said they wanted to see you stay in the pocket even more, where Goosen really thought, you're powerful, and he wanted to see you there more. Do you think we see that more on the 26th, or?
I think we're gonna, I think I'm just gonna keep getting more and more comfortable throughout every fight that I go through, every camp that I go through. I think I'm gonna get that much more comfortable. I think that's what that's the key. That's why we stay busy. That's why we stay active, and because every fight at this age and at this period of time in my career, I'm gonna get that much more comfortable and that much better. And against Sean West, I understood where they were coming from, but I was in there with a pretty awkward guy. He was doing some awkward stuff in there and hitting, touching me with a couple things that were just coming from nowhere and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm going to keep this guy out on the end of my shots. And I was really proud of that, performance, I'd say, just with the way that I'm developing, because I hit him with some shots that I'm like, oh, he's hurt. Where in previous fights before, then I launched something, because I'm like, I want to get him out of there right now. But I had him hurt in the second. I took kind of the third just to keep working on him, keep working the body, keep jabbing the body. And by the 4th round, the right hand. I didn't expect that right hand to hurt him that I hit him with. I hit him with a big right hand that I just let go clean. I didn't rush it. And I was happy with that because that was something that we were really working on, just getting our guys out of there when it's time to get them out of there. And that's going to be important when I start stepping up and with better and better competition, is not rushing things, waiting till it's time and not looking for the knockout, just letting it come. So I was really, I feel myself growing, so I'm happy about that.
I mean, because you have power, right? And when you, like we saw with Gervonta and Tank, have power, you don't have to force the knockout, right?
Yeah, like Gervonta wasn't trying to knock that Leo out. He wasn't trying. It just happened. I mean, not saying that he wasn't looking for a knockout, but with that specific shot, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to knock him out with this shot. He just threw it. He threw it with good, technique and with his hips behind it, and that's what happens.
How good is your power? Punchers usually know that what they got is different than most guys. Are you a puncher? You consider yourself a puncher?
Yeah, so I mean, like when I was coming, everybody, when I'm 17, turned pro, the first guys that, like, they're going to go out. I knew they were going to go out. I didn't really know if that meant I have a lot of power, and everybody starts calling you a knockout artist and stuff like that. And I'm like, really don't know if I'm a knockout. I know I've got good power, but, like, we don't know if I'm a knockout artist until I get in there with some guys that can take a shot. And so then I didn't really know. Like, I started getting in there with some guys, went to distance a couple times. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, I'll have a lot of power. Maybe I'll just have good power. I knew I have good power. But it's getting to the point where I'm getting, like, I'm hurting every sparring partner, like, multiple times with headgear on. And that's, me not really – I mean, I'm trying. Sparring is obviously the way we spar. We still spar to fight. Like, it's a real fight. We don't just go in there to mess around. But with headgear on, everything – and I'm generally not expecting to hurt anybody because we have the headgear on and things like that. So I'm not expecting to buzz people and have them on shaky legs and things like that. And I've got good sparring partners. I don't have just the sparring partners I spar are definitely, better than probably a lot of the guys that I've fought so far. So I definitely am noticing my power get more and more developed. I'm getting stronger. I'm getting bigger. I'm growing a lot. Yeah, definitely. I'm filling out. I'm growing a lot. Right now in just pounds and leaning out at the same time. So it's definitely becoming more real.
What is a fighter like you right now at 20? You're in a much different phase than he is. But what do you view Jermell Charlo like now that there's a clear-cut king of the division and he's grabbed basically all the belts?
Yeah.
What are you looking at him like from your perspective? What do you think of Jermell Charlo?
I mean, obviously, I think he's a good fighter, with good power. I want to fight for the title by the time I'm 22. So obviously, now that there's one guy that there's one guy in the division, like, how I'm feeling about that. And I have a lot of respect for those two brothers. I like how they, came in the game as brothers, and they're both taking over their divisions. And it's that says a lot about just them because it's not just one of them; it's both of them. And definitely, I've got my sights on all the belts. And when Teofimo just won that Lomachenko fight for all the belts, and then me thinking, I'm like, dang, the guy in my division has all the belts. You know what I mean? That's just motivation. That's motivating. And I know I've got more work to do before I get there for sure. So I've got a little ways to go, but at the same time, it's not too far out. It's not too far out. I'm going to be fighting 10 rounders by, 2020, during 2021, by the end of 2021. I really think that I can be, by late 22, I can be fighting for a title, whoever's got it. And if he's still got all the titles, I think I could be making a shot at that. And whether it's 22 or 23, I want it to be one of those. So I definitely don't want to be, hanging out too long.
With 23. So, you ain't got to do it at 22 if you want to follow the Teofimo was 23. You don't got to do it at 22 now.
That's why I wanted to do it. That's why I wanted to do 22. That's why I thought 22, because I was like, that was like a legacy thing that that Teofimo just did.
Absolutely.
If I'm not mistaken, he was the youngest one to become a unified, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
I'm like, I truly, I truly believe that I can do that. I truly believe that I can do that. And it's also, I know that I'm
something to where even if he never does anything again, it's something you'll always
100%. That's motivating me. That's what I want. That's what I want. Do things that people, remember you for. That's how you get remembered, by doing big things. So
is Mel though one of the most explosive and dangerous type fighters in the game, you think? Just guys who are explosive and dangerous.
Yeah, he's dangerous, and I like his style. I like the way he
yeah.
I like the way he fights, because he's coming out to hurt you. He's coming out to hurt somebody. Yeah, exactly. That's the way I fight. That's the way I like to fight. So, yeah, I like the way he fights. I like that style, and I like the way that's like kind of a common theme right now in boxing. Like, there's more of that, and I like that. I love Mayweather. I love the way he fought. I love, I was a huge fan of his. I still am, everything that he did in the sport. But for a little while there, I feel like everybody just wanted to be defensive and not fight, And I don't think Floyd did that, because I think he became so dominant at one point that he was so defensive, and he had his hand problems, he had his shoulder problems, he had injuries.
Yeah.
But then everybody wanted to be like that, everybody wanted to be like,
all he had to do was win. Like, he had proven himself enough to where he didn't have to. Yeah.
Exactly. And he always talked about that. When he says pretty boy, like, you got to be pretty boy, Floyd first, that's what he's talking about. People, like, he fought those wars too. He fought wars when he was young, when he was coming up. That's the type of war that, when I get there, that's the type of war that me and somebody like Charlo's going to have. Or if he moves up and goes to 160, because I don't know, if I'm still a year and a half, 2 years away, he's unified now. Who knows if he'll be here? But if that's him, then it'll be a war like that. If it's somebody else, then I'll be coming to have a war like that. And that's what I like. That's what gets me going. You know what I mean? That's what that's what motivates me. It's not just to go in there and have some fights. That's what I want to do. And I really I look back on the guys like, back that era was crazy, Miguel Cotto's and the Juan Manuel Marquez's and Marco Antonio Barrera's and Pacquiao and these guys just fought like wars, and now you got all these young fighters that don't want to fight. It's crazy.
Yeah, even Bernard at almost 50 would get himself into a war sometime.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Caleb Plant won his world championship. He won his world championship with Uzakazi in a war, and he fought clean defense, used great defense and boxed beautifully. That doesn't mean you got to go forward and fight stupid. That's not what I mean. Ray Leonard used to fight fights, you know what I mean? But he was a mover. So, like, he moved, but he fought. It's just, boxing is boxing. It's an art, and I still believe that. And you need to use technique and hit and not get hit. But if you're going out there for blood, then it's gonna be a fight. That'll take care of itself. You know what I mean? Mm. If you're going out there to not, there's a difference in going out there to not get hit and going out there to not fight. Terrence Crawford goes out there and he's not trying to get hit. He's trying to go out there and be dominant. But it's a fight every time. He's going out there, sticking his tongue out and beating guys down. And if he gets touched here and there, he's not worried about it. And that's
how you think his fight goes to Saturday.
Yeah, Terrence, man. Terrence Crawford, I think he's going to win against Kell Brook, probably in pretty dominant fashion. I think Kell Brook's probably a little bit, maybe a little bit past it to be getting there with somebody as hungry as Terrence Crawford. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the guy that shows up, that fought Errol Spence, shows up. Because if he does, then it'll be a really good fight. It'll be a really good fight. But I just don't know what Kell Brook if he's still at that point that he used to be. But if he's not, then I think Terrence will stop him late. And if he is, then it could be a really good fight. But I still think Terrence probably stops him.
It's so crazy that you just said what you said about Terrence, about he's not trying to get hit at all, but it's a fight. Because I've literally heard him talk about that, he was joking around like, man, I'm thinking, have I been getting touched too much lately? Because because I'm trying to knock people out and
yes,
like, so you've been enjoying that style, huh?
For sure. I mean, it's
not that he really has been getting touched, but yeah, I know what he's talking about.
I've done that to a fault in the past, like already in my young career has just been too willing to exchange, with fights, a couple of different fights I've had, and are not willing to exchange, but just like even getting outside the game plan just to fight, just brawl, you know. And I don't think that it should be all the way to that extent. You still got to fight smart, like I'm saying. But somewhere along the line, I feel like people forgot this is a fight sport. Like, I feel like people forgot that this is a fight sport. This, you know, and I feel like more and more guys are kind of starting to do, you know, come back to that, and it's good for boxing.